All right. Can you guys hear me online? You need one person to say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna ask you guys to stay on mute. And then if there are any questions, I'll come back here. But I have you guys in my ear, and it's gonna be a little tough to uh maneuver back and forth. So I will just have to ask you guys to stay on mute. Is that okay? Okay.
Yes.
Can
Like a
you
plan.
guys, this last question, can you guys see that correctly, or is it reversed?
It's correct.
Correct. Perfect. Okay. All right. Let's start. This is for a question for you guys. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. Welcome to Quranic Arabic 101. We have 15 classes before we finish, and this is a pretty tall order to be able to do what I have planned, inshallah. But if you have already been coming to some of my halaqat or classes, or unfortunately khutbahs too, sometimes I talk too much. I go on for too long. I hope that's not the case here. And if it is, inshallah, we'll make it up in some other way. We'll decide that when the time comes. For right now, I'll give you a short introduction as to what we're going to be doing, what this class is going to be about, and we're going to kind of dive right into it. However, before any class is taught, it is extremely important to go over one basic principle, and that is the principle of ikhlas. That is sincerity. Any class that we learn, any class that we join, any topic that we are learning about, anything that we are doing for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has to implement sincerity. If we are not solely doing it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's sake, then that will be bereft or devoid of any good deeds, of any goodness in it. So we want to renew our intention for whatever it was. We are strictly doing this for the sake of Allah. And how so? So that we can gain a closer relationship with the Quran. We can understand the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the way that He meant for it to be understood, when read, when heard, and understood as it was meant to, without any sort of translation or a third party needing to tell us what it means. That is our intention. So it always has to do with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So sincerity is the first thing. I can tell you that in the past, I've had people who have asked me, can you teach me Arabic? Because, and they'll say some frivolous reason. Something like, I want to learn how to conversate in Arabic so that I can speak to other people. I've once had someone who asked me, can you teach me Arabic? Because they wanted to get married to somebody. And they wanted to learn the language so that they could conversate with the other persons. That is not our intention. Our intention is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to learn His book, to read it, to understand it properly in the way that He has sent it down. That's number one. Number two, the curriculum is going to be based off of this book. It's called Durus al-Lughat al-Arabiyyah. The Arabic, the language of the Arabic language curriculum that is taught at the Islamic University of Medina. This book is an excellent, excellent resource. Now, I'm going to give you just a quick background because we are limited on time. And inshallah, I hope that it serves as um, some kind of, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Sometimes I forget my word, so you have to fill me in. as a a motivating factor for you. That's the word I was looking for. So in 2013, I was studying at the University of Connecticut, and there was a local brother at the masjid who wanted to start teaching Arabic, and I was very interested. I wanted to start learning Arabic, so I joined his class. He told us, go and buy this book because everyone will have to use this book in the class. The next day when I came back to class, someone had gone and bought every student in the class a copy of this book.
Try to use this to see if we could drown out any noise in the area.
Are you having trouble hearing me?
I don't think they will have, yeah, like for the noise from the class.
Okay. Do I need to use this?
Yeah, it's better.
It is better? Okay. All right. Next day when I showed up to class, there was a person who had bought every student in that class a copy of this book. I asked who was it. He said, my teacher, he said, he's a person who wants to remain anonymous. To this day, I don't know who bought me this book. This is the same book from 2013. From that time, I would spend a few months studying this book with that sheikh in the masjid. Inshallah. You don't have to ask permission. You just go. Inshallah. I since then I have been using this book. A few months into that program, I would study a few of the chapters with him. I would get into this book. After that, I would go to the Islamic University of Medina, where the entirety of this book is taught. This is just book one. There are 3 different books that are taught across 4 chapters in the Arabic Learning Institute. After that, I would come between my time there and then ever since then, I have taught this book numerous times from this same book. I still don't know who gave me this sadaqah jariyah, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it a sadaqah jariyah for them. So, you can, if you were to ever see it, you can see it stained in so many different ways. The beginning of it is all filled in English, and then the end of it has no writing in it. The reason why is because I didn't need to use this actual book. They had given me their copy over there. So that is just a little motivational factor to kind of, include into that class. As far as learning this Arabic goes, and as far as where will your journey take you, only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. However, this is important. This is a journey that I have been on for over 10 years. Everyone who wants to study the Arabic language in its entirety devotes themselves to this language. It is not something that is started and then stopped and then started again and then stopped and then started again with the expectation that you will have fierce good results. Strong conviction and continuous application. That is what is necessary. So, with that in mind, what is on the board? Don't worry, this is all the way for the end of the class. The back is what we're going to do first. Okay? We're going to jump right into it. And I'm going to use 3 different texts that are going to help me maneuver around the important topics of this class. However, this book, I would advise that you buy this book. This is available in PDF as well. If you want to, I can send you that PDF or you can find it online. You can print it out. But I would advise that you have a physical copy of it. Okay, whether you print it out or whether you buy it, have a physical copy. Why? Because this is a workbook. This is a workbook. So when you look at it, you can write down the examples, the exercises within the book. We won't be going through every single thing in this book. Okay, just a small disclaimer. And because just of the amount of people who are registered in the class, we have over 120 registrants in the class. I won't be able to check every single person's thing. We can't go through every single example in the book. Yes. Yeah, that's what the computer is for. They're on Zoom as well. So we won't be able to do every single one. But my plan is for the homework assignments that I do give you, I will send you the answers for them. And then if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. However, the topics that we go over and the examples that I give you, like for example, my hope is that by the end of today, whatever is written here, for whatever intention I have, is going to make sense to you. Are you going to be able to tell me exactly what is written here and translate everything? That's a question.
No.
No. No, because that's not how anything starts. You can't start off, with the highest level of expertise in anything. You start always at the lowest level and you build yourself up. That's just a natural way that it works. So, how are we going to start off? Quick question. How do you learn a language?
Regarding vocabulary, how to make a sentence.
How to memorizing vocabulary, how to make a sentence. Anything else?
Communicating in that language.
Actually communicating in the language, practice. Okay. Anything else?
Now the parts of a speech like noun, pronoun, verb, the thing.
Yes. Okay. Learning the nuances of language. Good. Okay. Anything else? Yeah. Listening to native speakers speak it. Okay, good. Okay. So there are 4 levels. You start off with the listening. Listening is always the first level of learning a language. This is something that we model in babies. They always listen. They don't start with talking, right? They always start with listening. After listening, you go to reading. You go to reading. This is called part 1. Okay. So why am I telling you this information? Because I want to keep you hopeful in the long term in understanding and in setting your expectations in understanding what you're getting yourselves into when you are making the intention to learn the Arabic language. It is not as simple as we finish this book. Therefore, when I'm standing in salah, I am understanding everything. That's not how simple it is, right? There are levels to this. Speaking, you start off with listening, and then you go to reading. Okay. After these two are the consuming stage. You're consuming all of the information that comes to you. You're consuming it. It comes to you. You're not giving anything. You're just taking. The next 2 stages are where you will solidify your skills in Arabic. That is, or any language. That is writing, right? It's a triangle. Then it's writing. And then all the way at the top, is it? Speaking. All the way at the top. So it's a triangle. The largest box at the bottom is listening, and the smallest box at the top is speaking. So it is a longer term goal to get to a point where you are actually speaking. It's not as simple as I've learned something and I can speak. However, this book is created in a way, it is written in a way where people can start conversing in small nominal sentences. And that's important because when you get that practice in of learning those small sentences, that is when you will excel and you will make those strides in your language skills. Okay. Next. So I'm going to use, again, like I said, this is all the way at the end. So right now, I'm just going to use this space over here. In Arabic, in English, we have many vowels. What are they?
A-E-I-O-U, sometimes Y.
Good. A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y. Okay. If you don't know that, it's not important. It's not an English class. But Arabic vowels are what? What are the 3?
Kasra, Dhamma.
Okay. Fatha, Kasra, and Dhamma are 3 of the vowels. And don't worry, this is something that we're going to get into and we're going to practice, okay? Fatha, Kasra. Oh, if you cannot read my handwriting, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Dhamma. Okay? What are these words? if you look over here, the haraka or the vowel that is on top, that's just a slash, that is called a fatha. The one that looks like a wow, because one of the prerequisites is knowing the Arabic language, Arabic alphabet, right? If you know the wow, it looks like a wow. That is called a dhamma, and the one that comes under is called a kasra. These are the three vowels. So a, u, e. There are also this extra vowel, which is not pronounced. It's the absence of pronouncing a vowel. That is silence, which is sukoon. Okay? So number 4 is sukoon. Okay. So that is a little bit different than English. All right. Now, let's change. Parts of speech. This is what I want to get into today, just to set a foundation for what we are doing in our class. Okay? In English, we have all of these extra different things that come into the into an English sentence. Now, if you are a native English speaker, like if you were born and raised in America or somewhere in Europe, or even in a different country, but you went to school in a English medium school, then chances are that you probably don't know what most of these words are. And that's okay. Because the language that you speak yourself, you generally don't know all of the rules about them. Okay? What we are going to focus on are the English equivalents of those words. Okay? So in English, we have noun, pronoun, adjective, adverb, verb, conjunction, preposition, and articles. What do these words mean? I'll tell you in a second. In Arabic, we only have 3 types. Okay? 3 types, 3 parts of speech. And everything falls into these 3 parts of speech. That is ism, fi'l, harf. These 3 things. Very simple. And you'll see actually as we go on, the Arabic language is very, very simple and it's full of patterns. So for learning a new language, Arabic is actually a very easy language to learn and adapt to because it's full of patterns. Once you learn one thing or you learn, I guess, one concept, it's really easy to gain a grasping of that entire concept and then move on to the next concept because these 2 concepts are going to be mirrored in many ways. Okay? So, an example of an English sentence. He ran, but slowly, from the tall building to a car. He is the pronoun, ran is the verb, but is the conjunction that combines both of these things. Slowly is an adverb that describes how he ran. From, preposition is what he's doing, where he's doing it from. The is a word that does not have a meaning in and of itself, but it shows that it's something specific. Okay? The tall, which is an adjective, right? Something that it's describing it. Building, which is a noun, a person, place, thing, or an idea. To, another preposition. A, article, which is the same thing as the, and car, which is a noun. Now, the difference between the tall and a car is this is talking about a very specific tall building. Okay? So if we were going to say this is the Empire State Building, it's the building. We're talking about a very specific building because we're using the word the. A car is an article, which is indirect. Again, these words, this first class, none of this stuff is really that important. When things are important, I will tell you that they are important so that you understand and that you can take notes on those specific things. I'm going through this to show you the differences between English and Arabic. This in and of itself is not something that you have to retain. Remember, a car. This is just a very any random car. Okay, so he could have gone to my car or any of your guys' cars or anyone's wherever. Okay, it's any car. This is a sentence that uses all of the different parts of speech. All right. Now, what is the Arabic equivalent of that? All of these things fall under what is an ism. What is an ism? An ism is all of these different things, and it is a word that has a meaning. This is something that is important for us to understand. It is a word that has a meaning in and of itself, but it's not tied to any given time period. It has no relation to a time period. Next, fi'l. Fi'l is a verb. What is a verb? A verb is an action that a person does. It can be something that a person does in the past tense. And in Arabic, it's something that a person does in the present tense or a command. And then the last one is harf. Harf is a word that does not have any meaning in and of itself, but you have to have a word before and or after it to give some kind of meaning and understanding to that sentence. Okay. What is our class going to be about? These three things, not today's class. What I mean is Quranic Arabic 101. Okay, from now until February 27th, what is it going to be? Understanding the basics of these three things. Make sense?
Let's see from this one more here.
Go ahead. You're good. So I didn't write down the definitions. I didn't tell you all of that. Why? Because we're going to go into each and every one of these things. We'll understand them properly. We'll give the details about them. And you're going to, inshallah, leave from here understanding to a certain degree. Today is just to give you a quick background understanding, some kind of a, here you go, this is what Arabic is about, so that you can make a proper picture in your mind. This is what I can expect for the next 2 months. Okay? So, what is a noun? What is an ism? A?
Things not related to time.
A name of a thing. A name of a thing. It is a thing that is not particularly related to any time period. Very good. It's a word that has a meaning in and of itself. So that's how what differentiates this one from this one. So ism, fi'l, and harf. Ism and harf. What is the difference between these two? Neither of these have anything to do with time. Okay? However, this one has a meaning in and of itself. The word has some kind of a meaning. Like when you say it, people know, oh, this is what this word means. As opposed to this one, it has no meaning in and of itself. Okay? Let me give you an example. If I was to say somebody's name, like Muhammad, or let me give you a different example, because Muhammad is a very common name. You might think I'm talking about any random person. Okay? If I say Massachusetts, I can only be talking about one specific thing. That is the state of the country, one of the 50 states of this country. Yes or no? Yes. So you know what I'm talking about. However, is that a complete sentence?
No.
No. Massachusetts is not a complete sentence, but it does have a meaning in and of itself. Okay. Fi'l is a verb, something that is tied with time. Give me an example in English.
Well,
Walking. Okay, another example.
Going.
Going. Okay. Sleeping. Yeah. Okay. So you're doing an action, whatever it is. Talking, sleeping, running, jogging, right? Working. Whatever it is, you're doing something. Usually ends in ing because it shows that you're in the middle of an action. You're doing work. You're doing something. Last one is harf. So it's not tied with time. Okay. Oh, sorry. For fi'l, you can have three different types, like I mentioned. All right. Something in the past, something right now in the present, something in the or a command. These are three things. Don't worry if you don't remember that. That'll be its own chapter when we get to it. Something in the past tense is like he slept. Something in the present tense right now, he is sleeping. When your kids are running around at home and it's 1 o'clock in the morning, you tell them, sleep. It's a command. It is a command. So these are the three different types of verbs. Last one, harf. Not tied with a specific time period. Okay? It's not tied with a specific time period. Harf is different than the ism because in and of itself, it has no meaning. So if you just use this word and someone heard you, they would be confused. Why are you saying this word? For example, a, the. Also, because, but, and. These are words, they have meanings, but when you use them without any context, it doesn't make any sense. Okay? Okay. So that is what that is. Now, an example in Arabic itself. Okay? Again, please excuse the handwriting. ذهب زيد إلى المسجد. Okay? All of this stuff, we are going to be able to understand it. Okay? So if you cannot understand it right now, it's completely okay. But we're going to be able to understand it. The point of this right now is not to start being able to read and understand it right off the top of our head, but it's to get a full picture of what Arabic is and what we're supposed to be expecting in the class to come. Dhahaba means that he went. Okay? He went. It is a past tense verb. He went. What kind of a word is it?
Past. Past.
Past tense what? Out of these three things. Fair. It is a fair. It helps that I color coded them. Zaydun. Zayd is the name of a person. Okay? So if we say Zayd, we know that this is talking about a person. Okay? This is a specific person that we know in context. Therefore, which of the three would it refer to? Ism. Good. Ila means to. Which of the three is it? Harf. Why? Good. And what's the meaning behind that? What does it mean? It has no meaning. It has no meaning in and of itself. The word has a translation, has a definition, but when you use it without context, it doesn't mean anything. Al masjid. What is that? Ism. Perfect. It is in ism. Why isn't it ism? Someone tell me. It's a place. A place is a noun. Very good. Very good. Okay. So what we will do now is give a short breakdown of those three things. Because again, this is not a thorough breakdown, and this entire book is going to go over what all of these different things mean. Okay? However, whenever you open up the Quran, whenever you open up the Quran and you point to any word, it is going to be one of these three words. It will be one of these three words. Does that make sense? So you open up the Quran and you point to a word, it is going to be one of those three. Now, this I put here. And I told you that the hope is that by the end of the class today, we're going to be able to do the exercise that I want to do. We're going to prepare for that now on this side. Okay? All right. So this is going to be important information. Ism has 5 properties. Okay? Why are we learning about the 5 properties about an ism? And again?
The word that we're reading is an ism.
Perfect. On the triangle of learning a language, what is first? Listening. Okay? If listening is here, really sorry. If listening is here, then how do we make the most out of this block? By refining the skills on how to listen. When we learn this is what I'm supposed to listen to, or this is what I'm supposed to look out for, it helps us to make sure that we're looking out for something. Let me give you an example that's not related to this. If I am in the middle of a khutbah and I tell you that I'm going to talk about this point after this. I tell you, let's say for example, this is this story right now, but we're going to come back to this lesson at the end of the khutbah. What are you going to do? Anyone? You're going to anticipate it, right? You're going to anticipate it. If you remember, if you remember, you're going to anticipate it. Yes or no? So when you are in the listening phase of the triangle and you have these rules behind it that tell you that this, and this is what I'm looking for, when it comes out in the Quran, in an ayah, then it'll trigger your memory. It'll say, oh, this is an ism. This is an ism. Okay. So, property number 1. It accepts tanween. It accepts tanween. What does tanween mean? We said that there are 3 vowels in the Arabic language, and then an additional 4th, which is the absence of a vowel. Okay? Fatha, kasra, dhamma. Okay? And I showed you that on here, what they were. Fatha, kasra, dhamma. Okay? And then sukoon is the 4th, which is the absence of one. Now, when you double up on these, oh, Fatha doesn't have one. I don't think it has one. When you double up on one of these vowels, then you get what you call tanween. Tanween is 2 of any of these. 2 fathas, 2 dhammas, or 2 kasras. The presence of it or it not being there is a lesson in and of itself. So we're going to learn about in its own chapter, in its own place, about what it means. Okay? But we'll say, for example, right now, a word that accepts tanween. Muhammadun. Tanween always comes on the last letter. Only the last letter of a verb on a word. Muhammadun. You are allowed to say Muhammadun. Therefore, it means that it accepts tanween. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. Number two, it accepts alif, lam. Alif and lam. What does this mean? So, we talked about over here. Oh, this is gone. Okay. It was over here when it was written. I said the tall building and a car. They're two different things. That is called a preposition, right? What was it called? Oh, yeah, that's called the direct and indirect article. Yeah, I don't remember these things either. Direct and indirect article. Okay? The direct article shows that you're talking about something specific, and indirect article means that you're talking about something not specific. Now, these words, direct and article, again, I don't remember them. Do you need to remember them in order to understand any of this? No. What do you need to remember? If a word has alif lam at the beginning of it, at the front of it, it's talking about something specific. It's talking about something specific. If it has tanween, then it's possible that it's talking about something that's not specific. Then it's possible it's talking about something that is not specific. But like I said, when we get there, we'll get there. Alif and lam. Okay? So what is an example of that? Al masjidu. Al masjidu. So it accepts the alif lam at the beginning. The word in and of itself is what? I'm going to the masjid. We don't say al masjid, right? We don't usually say al masjid, but it accepts the word alif lam. This is in Arabic when you're talking about the specific masjid. Like if you were going to tell your friend, for example, if you're going to tell your friend, I'm going to go to Wick, and all you wanted to say was al masjid. You just wanted to talk about, you just wanted to use the word masjid. Okay. However, you didn't want to say the entire name, but both of you knew which masjid you were talking about. It's enough just to say al masjid. That is how you know that it is an ism, because it accepts the alif lam at the beginning. Then, number three, it becomes majroor. Majroor. Now, what does majroor mean? Majroor is a fancy word that we're going to learn more about when we get to that point. But essentially, when you have a kasra at the end of a word, like these, all of these words, at the end of a word you have a kasra, that means that word is majroor. It is a state of being. So this person is happy, this person is sad, this person is angry, this person is, whatever. Because remember a third emotion. Words also have states. Words also have states. This is going to be a lesson in of itself. Majroor is the only thing that you need to remember right now, which means it can take a kasra. There are some words you cannot put a kasra on the word. There are other words which you are not supposed to put a kasra on the words. Okay? So, Beiti. So this word originally is supposed to be bait, baytun. Okay, baytun means house. Baytun means house. I added an alif lam, which already shows that this can be what? It can already be an ism, because it accepts alif lam. However, for added emphasis, to show you extra, I added another word in front of it that made the ending of it have a kasra. It forces the end of it to have a kasra. Fil bayti. Okay. And then there's two more, but we'll do it after the adhan.
Chef, can we ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead. I can respond to the questions in the meantime, but I'll mute myself. Adhan.
Number 3, can you go over the first part?
I'll respond in the chat so that I'm not talking during the. Okay. And the last two properties I will go over too. Um, These last two we will go over as well. Number four. Number four can come after the ya of calling. The ya of calling in Arabic is called harfun nida. And this is something that we see in the Quran a lot, right? Ya ayyuhalladina amanu. Ya ayyuhar rasul. Ya ayyuhan nabi. Ya ahlal kitab. Over and over and over again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will use this term of ya. So the word that comes after this ya, which usually in English is just translated as oh, to kind of call on somebody. Oh, this person. Oh, imam. Oh, brother. Oh, whatever. So this if it can come after this, yeah, you can properly use this after this word, yeah, then it is also considered an ism. Finally, the last one is accepts the ta marbuta at the end. Ta marbuta, there are two types of ta that are written. The ta that you might know as the open ta that is in the Arabic alphabet, alif, ba, ta, ha, that ta, the open one. And then another ta that is a circle that kind of looks like the emoji where someone is shocked. That is the ta marbuta. The end whenever that comes on a word, by default, that word is an ism by default. Usually, I give you this word right now. Usually, when that happens, it will be turning a masculine word into a feminine word. And that's something we'll talk about as well in its time. But it's turning a masculine word, masculine ism, into a feminine ism. Okay. These are the 5 characteristics. So it accepts tanween at the end. It starts with alif lam. It can take kasra. Okay? It can come after ya. And it takes ta marbuta at the end. That is just for ism. Okay. Now, I did not get to give you a very brief introduction of fi'l. Okay? So I will give you a brief introduction of fi'l as well, which is a verb. There are three um there are three types. Again, this is not a lesson in and of itself, okay? When we begin, we'll be beginning with ism. So this I'm going to kind of go through very quickly because we only have a few minutes left. Why am I doing this? So that we can do the exercise on the next page. There are 3 stages or 3 tenses for a verb. What were they?
Present,
Hmm?
past,
Past, present, and command. Okay. Past, present, command. What do I want you to know right now today about this, just for this? If it's past, change happens at the end of the word. If it's present, then change happens at the beginning of the word. And if it's a command, then this is just for now. Again, we'll talk about it more. Though it will start with the alif will start with the sukoon. Alif will start with a sukoon. Okay? The alif at the beginning will start with a sukoon. Then the last one is harf. Harf is again what? Harf is what? What's the meaning of harf? It does not have meaning when it's used just by itself. Okay? All right. Now, does what's on here make sense? Yes? Anyone have any questions on this? Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. What was the Arabic example for 5? Hamza. Okay. All right. Now, what is the exercise that we're going to do? Let us see if just in those basics we were able to implement any of those lessons. Okay? Alhamdu. We don't need translations. Not right now. If when we do, I'll tell you. Alhamdu. What kind of word is it? Why? Lillahi. Why? Hmm? Asr. Good. Okay. Rabb is a little bit more complicated. And so, and then Al-Alameen. Ism. Good. Why? Al-Islam. Ar-Rahman. Why? Okay. Same thing with the next one. Ar-Rahim. Maliki. Listen. Why? Huh? Ending with the kasrah. Yawmi. Ad-Din.
We can't hear the answer, what crowd is saying.
Anything that I'm circling in green is an ism. They want you to be louder. Maliki, Yawmi, Yom, also an ism. Why? Because of the kasra on both of them. Ad-Din. Why? Alif Lam. Good. Iyaka, leave that. Na'budu. Okay. This does not have a tanween. Does it? No. Does it have alif lam? No. What was the third one? Becomes majroor. Is this majroor right now? Is there kasra? No. Is there a ya that comes before it? No. And is there a ta marbuta that ends off after it? That means there has to be another type of word. What is that type of word? One of two options. Either a fa'il or a harf. Fa'il or a harf. I am telling you that this is a fa'il. I'm telling you that this is a fa'il. How would you know this? Because you memorize the vocabulary. It's the only way. So I am telling you that this is a verb. Tell me which tense it is in. Iyaka na'budu. Past? Okay, what did you say? Present? Okay. We have two different answers. What do you think? Say this one more time. Fa'il, past, change happens at the end. Present, beginning of the word. The word here is abd. Okay, we'll say that the word is abdun. The present tense because it happened at the beginning. Do the same thing for this verb. This is also a verb. Nasta'in. Present tense or past tense? Present tense. Very good. Last one. Ihdina. If it starts with the alif that has a sukoon, then, huh? What is it? A fi'al. Command. Very good. A command. This is what we're going with right now. Just to give you an example of something else, this is we're pretty much finished here. But again, you would need to know the vocabulary. But this is an example of a past tense verb. And I just want to give you example of a harf. Okay? This is an example of a harf. غير. غير means not the. Okay? Opposite of or different than. So Allah says, صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. Grant us the straight path, guidance to the straight path, and this is the straight path of the ones that you have blessed, not the path. When you say not the by itself, would that have any meaning in of itself? غير does not have any meaning. Therefore, it is what kind of a verb? A word? It is a harf. Okay. Does this make sense? Okay. Starting from Monday, we'll be going on lesson by lesson by lesson. This was just a brief overview of what Arabic was overall. Okay, to give you just a kind of synopsis of what you're looking forward to until the end of February. Okay, هذا وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أقم الصلاة.
Share PDF.
Yes.
And also the name of the.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll send out an email. The people of what? What's the second last one?
No.
Wait.
Allah